later on get some details with regards to what the project is about, the background of it, and to discuss this very important issue with regards to transportation and how that can ease up the tension with regards to transportation in the Freetown municipality. I have in the studio Modipe Williams, the integrated expert urban planning person from the department right there from the Freetown City Council. You're welcome, Modipe, to the studio. And I also have Marcus Hagspeed, a ropeway expert who is also in the studio to discuss the issue of the Freetown City Council cable cars project. And I will start off with Modipe Williams. Please, I want you to give us a brief background with regards to this project, what it's all about, and where the initiative came from.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Sheriff Albert.
Yeah.
The cable car project was first presented to the city sometime in mid-2019 by a resident of the city. It was presented to the former mayor of the city, Mayor Yvonne Akisoya. And she asked us to investigate this project. So I was given the task to see how viable this cable car solution was for the transport problems of Freetown. So we set out to undertake a pre-feasibility study. So we used a lot of existing data, which was obtained from studies that had been carried out on other projects. We used planning data collected in recent studies carried out by the council and other government agencies. And we used the data to assess whether this solution would work for Freetown. We were also fortunate to have been supported by a cable car manufacturer who was able to give us the technical assessment of the potential cable car routes. We came up with 3 potential routes for the cable car. We came up with an eastern route, a western route, and a mountain route. And beyond the study, we also did some cost appraisals. We did a business case to assess whether this project could work in our setting, in our own local setting. We were looking to finance this project through raising private finance from some sort of impact investor. So we wanted to be sure that this project had a business case. So we undertook both a financial appraisal of the project, but also an economic appraisal of the project to assess its likelihood of getting financial support. So all of that formed the initial pre-feasibility study. Then the next stage was to identify financing for the project. So we made a few applications to various funding agencies, including the C40 finance facility. And with C40, it was a competition among cities to provide projects which were had a good business case and a good financial case, and were likely to reduce the carbon offset of the city, the carbon emissions from the city. So the cable car not only has a good cost-benefit analysis based on our analysis, it also has the potential to reduce carbon emissions in our city. So we were very successful with C40 Finance Facility, and they have chosen to provide technical support in conducting a full feasibility study for the pilot route, which is the Eastern Line. And that's where we've got to today. And this week we have, where we first launched the project formally in July 2022. And since then, we have been working with the consultants and with GIZ, the implementing partner, and C40 Finance Facility in procuring the necessary support to deliver the project. And this week, we have our consultants from the selected firm appointed by C40 Finance Facility, who are GFA HEAT, who are providing technical support to the project in appraising the project to ensure it meets all the necessary requirements for implementation.
Please tell us where are the stations. You said you have identified 4 stations. Can you please tell us the locations for now?
Yes, the locations of the stations on the pilot route The first of those stations is going to be located in the central business district. The second station will be located somewhere around the Eastern Police. It's possible it could be located in one of the car parks at a school very close to the Eastern Police Station. The second site will be along the Hillside Bypass, the location along the Hillside Bypass. And the terminal station for the pilot route will be somewhere around Kisi Ferry Junction. We have a number of options we're looking at in terms of identifying a suitable site for the cable car station.
What's the total length, really?
The length of the line
The
end
line,
to end
yeah,
is
yeah.
about 3.7 to 3.8 kilometers.
Okay, let me get over to Marcus. Marcus, you're welcome once again.
Thank you.
Why the cable cars? Why cable cars?
Well, thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure. Since this week, I discovered, this city is suffering kind of same problems as many cities around the world. And especially South America, Central America, they started and have implemented cable cars as a new mode of transport, which is a fantastic add-on complementary to their existing system. Because sometimes it's acting as feeding line, but also providing access to areas which is not a good access at the moment, especially for elderly people, children, handicapped people. They can really provide an access to the main transport facilities. And Freetown, this is since it's very hilly and very congested, it's an optimal mode of transport, I would say. It has a lot of advantages. The first of all is safety. It's far safer than any bus or car or motorbike could ever be, right? Because it's operated in a third level, up in the air, you cannot have any collision with the cable car. And the system itself, it has been developed through the last decades in very harsh weather conditions. Up in the mountain where you have snow, you have like strong winds, you have got ice. And that one was developed to fit the city needs, right? In South America, La Paz, for example, there is I think it's 30 more kilometer built already, and every day they're transporting 70 to 100,000 people a day. Second advantage is of a cable car that the minimum footprint you have. From one station to another station, you just put every 200-300 meters, depending on the height, you put the tower, a support structure, and then you have a very light structure. You just overfly any obstacle. You can have like infrastructure, existing buildings, roadways, rails, anything, waters, you can cross very easily and connect several points of interest throughout the city. Another point Medupe already said is the emission-free. The system, depending where the power comes from, but we're looking at solar power, and that the system itself really is operated by renewable energies. And of course, there will be backups as well. We always make sure that there's no people stranded online somewhere. So if the power grid fails, for example, or solar power fails, there's alternative mode of drives. You always can bring back the cabins and the people to the station.
So how safe is it?
It's very safe. It's amongst the safest mode of transport. It's closer to aviation, which is very, very high. It's far safer than any bus, rail, motorbike could ever be.
People will be scared or will be frightened to get into the cable, more especially with regards to the type of background they are coming from. Some people cannot go high.
Yeah.
What's the solution to that one? How can you get people interested in getting to the cable cars?
Thanks for that question. That is very important because people don't know. They're afraid maybe from the beginning, but we made the experience that everywhere where we put cable car, first everybody's suspicious, and then the children try first with their teachers maybe. They bring their moms and dads and their grandmas, and people get used to it. So it's a change of mindset. It's kind of it's a progress. It's maybe not from the beginning. Everybody is excited, but in the end, they will see the benefits they have. They can save so much time every day, hours they can save just being connected directly, not relying on any congested areas, traffic jams. You just fly over it. And in terms of height, there's also the possibility these cabins you can kind of make them blind until a certain height that the people cannot look down straight away, which makes them maybe comfortable. So they just look horizontal out of the cabin. But as I'm saying, this is a progress, and mostly these people, like in these countries where they have it, there's very rare that somebody still want to go rather with the KK or motorbike.
Okay. Yes, Molupe. You know, the issue of transportation or the struggle to get transportation in the Freetown municipality is a perennial one. And I think this particular move is a positive one that so many people will appreciate. So what would be your take regarding this project? Because I think people have been yearning for this type of project, but for some time now, you know, it has not been forthcoming. But now we are getting you guys on board, and still since the launching of it in 2022, now, you know, we are seeing some foresight that it's coming to reality. What's the assurance again you give to people that this is going to be safe, this is going to be something that will salvage the transportation crisis, which is a perennial one?
Yes. I mean, as Marcus has said, it is a safe mode of transport. There's no question about that. As long as it's maintained and operated by a competent operating company, which is our intention to achieve. We need to procure the right supplier for the cable car system. In terms of accessibility, the cable car has a capacity to go up into the hillsides, which other modes of transport, road transport, would find it difficult to maintain. I mean, buses in our city would tend to run along the flat parts of the city, even in areas like in Botomango, Wilberforce, you find only very small buses go up to those hills. And in places like, as you go further uphill, you go to Leicester, Gloucester, there are no buses going there because of the hillsides. Cable cars have the capacity to penetrate those places and make those areas more accessible. And therefore, development can be clustered around these stations, which is a good thing because you have more higher density development in better areas and less damage to the environment, which is caused by unplanned building and construction. In addition to that, the fare structure of the cable car will be competitive. It will be comparable to long distances. Very often people have to take 2 or 3 different modes of transport from their home to their destination. With a cable car, if you're living in the east,
just a go.
Yeah, so you just take one continuous route, and then the fare will be a uniform fare along the continuous route.
A uniform fare, how affordable would that be? Because the cost of living is very serious, and transportation, and with the increase in fuel price, transportation cost is always increasing. How can you get the common man involved in this? Because some people will think, well, that's the cable cars are just for those who are the wealthy people who can pay for it.
Yeah. As I said before, the fare structure will be set at a price that's affordable based on the distance you'll be covering.
Okay.
So normally people will pay two different fares. You might take the bus, and then you take the keke, and then maybe even on the last mile, if you're going up a hill, you might take an Okada. But in this particular case, most likely to bring you as close to your location as possible. And therefore, when you compare the total cost of the fare, it will be competitive and comparable to existing fare systems. When we did the business case, the assumption was that for a full trip, end to end, you would pay about 50 cents per trip. And if you saw on the video on Bolivia, they're paying 40 cents per trip, and it's a similar sort of system. So because it's privately financed, it needs to ensure that there is a business case that's achieved through the fare system.
Besides reducing the emission of the greenhouse gases, and what are some of the other advantages you can get from this car cable project?
Yeah, I mean, the reduction of emissions is quite a significant one, because in Freetown at the moment, not only carbon emissions and greenhouse gases, we're also having lower air quality caused by vehicle emissions. Vehicle emissions are leading to air pollution, which is affecting the health of residents of the city. So this will reduce the carbon emissions as one benefit. It will be faster and more reliable. So businesses will be assured of regular travel. What they find in many cities, where you have more reliable modes of transport, there's more activity and there's more turnover in business activity, which creates a level of uplift for the city.
So with the car cables will be moving with luggage or cargo, any load on board?
We have discussed that, and we at the moment people can probably bring their bags or small bags onto the cable car, but if you've got very heavy items, the cars are designed to take 10 people. So that there could be a scenario of where you can say, well, in the very early mornings when people are taking their goods to the market, you could probably have 3 persons per car plus their luggage, plus their baggage, which they need to take to the market. That's a possibility in a certain window of the day.
And what amount of passengers are you targeting for the rest of the day, maybe for a day's work? How many people do you think will come in as passengers by your estimation?
The peak load for the cable car, the one we looked at initially, was about 3,800 people, persons. It can go up to 6,000. There's a possibility to go up to 6,000 persons an hour in the peak, and the rest of the day, you design for the peak load, and the rest of the day you will provide the service based on the demand along the route. So if you find that the demand continues to run throughout the day, you provide that 6,000 persons per hour. But at the moment, our estimation is that we'll have a lower demand in between 10 and 4, and a peak demand between 4 and 7, and then from 7 to 10 at night, you have a lower demand as well. On weekends, you have a lower demand. So that's the way we've designed the business case for the project.
Okay. One great problem we are having necessarily with projects is the sustainability. How can this be sustained? That it will not just come for a few months and then we see it's going back to the drains. What's the sustainability mechanism?
Yeah, and that's a very good point as well. And in this particular case, the kind of solution we're looking for is a whole life solution. So we're not just looking to buy the cable car and give it to an operator to operate separately. We're looking to procure the cable car with an operating package to come with it. So whoever is going to build the cable car will be responsible within the consortium to maintain it, to operate it, and they will get their revenue from the operating model that they will deliver. So the provider of the cable car is incentivized to ensure that the system is available. If it's not available, they will not make money. They will lose money.
Right. Let me get over to Marcus. Marcus, how long have you been an expert, a ropeway expert? How long?
I'm working in this field about 20 years already.
Okay.
And I've done quite a few projects around the world, like in London, UK, crossing the River Thames, Emirates Airline, former Emirates Airline. Singapore, they've got 2 cable cars connected to the MRT, using like as a connection from the island to the mainland. Then in Korea, I've done I think 15 projects, like in the ski industry. But it's more and more coming, like in the cities, even in the urban cable cars. Like even in India, I think 2 days ago in Varanasi, India, the President Modi, he inaugurated, kind of launched that project in the city, 3.6 kilometers or something. So, and there's, I think 50 similar projects already planned around the subcontinent. And it's a matter of time. I think this will be a very good example in Africa, but also for Southeast Asia, how you can integrate it, especially the setup on this project particular is really very promising, since many agencies involved. And we are very keen we can set a milestone here in this industry.
Yeah, what has been the challenges with ropeway cars, or let me say cable cars?
The challenges?
Yes, the challenges that they face. Maybe, whatever be the case, when it comes to anything moving, there will be challenges that will stall the movement. Maybe electricity, maybe some other challenges?
Sometimes it's kind of that the existing infrastructure, like the transport providers, they feel opposition and the competition,
Okay.
whereas the cable car literally is complementary. While they want to integrate all the other modes of transport. We're not saying we take it all, you're out. We say you bring your people, you get your people from this place. We provide even bus spots and space for kickers, for Okadas, whatever, to link the different mode of transport. This is kind of a fast lane connecting several points throughout the city and providing access to all the others as well.
Let's come to the mechanism. How is it made? Is it like a electricity power source or the solar power source? How does it get its source to move? Is it powered with some kind of energy? What is it? Explain, because this is very strange in Sierra Leone. People don't know about cable cars, so they want to know more. That will give them the confidence that they can use it to commute.
I mean, the cable car itself, it's controlled by a centralized control system.
Okay.
And with one drive system, which has a bull wheel.
You have a substation. Like.
And with that bull wheel, you're moving the main rope, right, where the cable cars hang on. And each time they come into the station, they will detach from the rope, slow down, go around very slow speed for handicapped people, elderly people, no problem to get in and out. Okay. Then it speeds up again.
Disabled people.
Yes.
People who are disabled, handicapped
even
people.
with a wheelchair, you can bring it into the
okay.
cable car, no problem. And it speeds up, attaches to the rope, and goes out on full speed. And the speed will be roughly around 30 km per hour, but constant speed. It will be not like on a road. You're always depending on the congestion, right, on the traffic. In the third level, there is no congestion. You just simply move continuously.
Do accidents occur on the cable cars? Accident?
There is no accident.
No accident.
There is no accident. And this is a big advantage. You can completely operate it independently, and compared to BRT systems, you always need a dedicated bus line, which you don't need. You just need every 200 meter a pole, like a foundation for the tower.
So you alone can get into it, the cable car, and then operate it to your destination if there's just a single passenger in it?
Of course, this will move anyway, continuously moving. You just can get on, but I want to have the next cabin depending on the demand. If there's a crowd waiting, of course they want you to fill up the cabins.
Okay.
But if there's empty cabins, you can choose which cabin you want.
You want to get into. And with regards to the speed, how does it accelerate? You know, maybe is it a steady speed, or maybe as you move along, it increases in its speed to get to the location as quickly as possible?
The rope itself is on a constant speed, but throughout the station, it's related. Kind of, there's mechanisms, rollers, and it takes the speed from the rope, and then it decelerates and accelerates around the station, which makes it very comfortable to get in and out. So it's a very easy task for children, for elderly people to get in and out.
Right. Of course, you're watching AOI, the television channel 30, and also online on www.ayvnews.com. This is a special show where we are discussing the Freetown City Council cable car project, which has, it's in a pilot stage, and we're having people to discuss the very importance of this particular project. Have with me in the studio, Modupe Williams, and of course, Marcus Haxfield. And of course, I'll get on to Modupe once again. Modupe, the Freetown City Council has been, in the news with regards to the transformation of Freetown. Is this part of the transformation project?
Yes, it's one of the sectors, the urban mobility sector, which aims to has as a target to reduce congestion by 50% along the key corridor, the key urban corridor. And one way to reduce congestion quite significantly is to divert traffic from the roads to the cable car. So the cable car is seen as a key component of the council's drive, along with other projects that are being planned to address the congestion in the city. Congestion has a negative effect on businesses because you can never guarantee what time your workers will get to the office. You never guarantee what time your children will get to school, and it reduces productivity. If somebody spends 4 hours a day traveling, when you can spend 20 to 30 minutes traveling, that's unproductive time. So all of this, the cable car can really help the economic well-being of the citizens of the city and help transform the city.
Yeah, transportation, as I said earlier on, it's a serious problem. You know, daily commuting people to their workplaces, and you are telling us about the sustainability mechanism put in place. That this is like a lifelong something.
Yeah.
We hope, you know, because as I said previously, there have been challenges with projects, and this is a model. You know, the car cable is a model. It has never happened. It's unprecedented in terms of transportation in Sierra Leone. And people are very much keen that, you know, they are very much keen that this will be a success, right? So at the end of the day, the monies that are gathered, how can it be used to extend it, you know, beyond the Freetown municipality? Or is it just for the Freetown municipality or this urban area that is congested?
Well, the example of Bolivia is they started with one line, and then they've gone out to 13 lines or 14 lines. They have a whole network of cable cars. And La Paz is similar to Freetown. It's a very hilly city. And so once you build the first line, successful, you raise some of the lines provide a surplus, and you can use that to part finance the next line. So these are various financing options you can achieve if the first line proves to be successful. Our current plan is to seek finance for all 3 lines early on, because having a fully integrated system would create balance in the city between the west and the east and the mountains, and it could help us to help spread development across the city. And there are many different possibilities of linking the rest of the Freetown Peninsula area into this backbone network.
So you are, you know, part of it, and I guess you've traveled to get a foresight or experience other areas in the world where they've introduced the cable cars. Tell us exactly what's your impression in those countries.
Yeah, well, as part of the project and as part of the study, the city and government officers did take part in a peer-to-peer exchange last November in Medellin. Medellin is the first city in the world that adopted the cable car as a mass transit solution back in 2004. So they have up to 20 years experience in operating cable cars. And we were very impressed with what we found in how they have used the cable car to address lots of social problems, areas which were inaccessible because of crime, because there were no-go areas, have become very viable communities. So the cable car is, unlike other mass transit solutions, which are capital intensive in terms of the capital costs, and also take a long time to build, and also you need to acquire a lot of land, to build these projects. With the cable car, as Marcos said, the footprint is very limited. The time to construction is also very quick. You can build a whole line in 2 years, which is a railway system or mass transit system. It's a minimum of 10 years to build one of those lines. So you're looking at a significant short delivery time, which allows you to begin to reap the benefits of the project, and then therefore extend the network more rapidly.
With these now 13 existing transportation systems, you know, moving that they will lose their customers because this is a competition. They will lose, not threaten them in the business.
Yeah, I think it will improve their efficiency.
Okay.
It will improve their efficiency, and they will probably have more targeted corridors to operate in. The last mile corridor will still exist. So, for example, if you go to a terminal station, the cable car will take you to the places where you would not normally want to, where the car cannot reach. Okay. So it will give them a more structured approach and more guaranteed income, because the inflow into that station will be continuous.
Okay.
And so there'll be a continuous flow of people in and out of the station. And if you have an integrated stop there of taxis and Okadas could operate from there into other communities, that are not directly serviced by the cable car.
Yeah, thank you very much, Modipe. Let me get over to Marcos. Marcos, the line, what is it made of? What, is it iron? Is it wires? The line that the car cable moves on, or the cable car moves on?
It's stainless steel with a soft cord to allow to go around the bull wheel. And this is designed a minimum of 4 to 5 times more than it's calculated, right? So, which means this is very, very safe, and it gets monitored constantly. Periodical, there will be the notified bodies coming in and check that rope periodically.
Do they rip off as you go along after serving for so long? Does it rip off?
Well, there is some wear, but since it's constantly monitored, to train people, they will always know when to exchange the rope. And what I also want to highlight is on this cable car particularly, that is very essential that we train the staff here. We even thinking of bringing in some college classes, whatever, to train the people here how to use the cable car, to make it safe, keep it safe, and it will create a lot of jobs as well. The cable car, not only the direct jobs like doing the operation, the maintenance, everything, but also indirect jobs, because the stations, they will become hubs. And if you think of retailers like little shops, any type of business will be established around the station. It becomes hubs, right?
Right. All right. I think you're watching AYV television, and we are with our guest on a special show, which is we are talking about the cable car project by the Freetown City Council. Let's take a break. Let's watch the Bolivian clip now fully, and then we'll come again with the second and final segment of this program right on AYV television, channel 33, and also online on www.ayvnews.com. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching AYV television, channel 33, and also online on www.ayvnews.com. You're also streaming live on Facebook. Follow us and be part of this show, a special one. We are here discussing the cable car project by the Freetown City Council. And I've been joined also in the studio. You know, just now we have Marcos Axpil, the ropeway expert. We've now been joined in the studio by Engineer Bandamasi Savage. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. And still Modupe is still with us in the studio. We're here to discuss the car cable project. Yes, Engineer Savage, you know, you're an engineer. You know, this is a well-known name in academia when you come to engineering, and you're here to discuss this very, very important project, which is the cable car project. What's your take regarding this project coming into Sierra Leone for the very first time?
Well, my specialty is transportation engineering, and that's what I've been doing for over 40 years, both at the university and in practice, not only in Sierra Leone, but in the sub-region and internationally as well. And being familiar with transportation and looking at our challenges in the city, the cable car is, to me, the best option in terms of moving a lot of people within a very short time. You see, one of the problems in transportation is how many people you can move within an hour or within a period of time. You see, the kinds of congestions we have on the road, traffic congestion, what is causing that? The reason for that is because we are having too many units of vehicles on the roads. Yeah? If you have too many vehicles running on the road and you have challenges of people also on the road, they are all competing for this road space. So therefore it restricts the flow, speed is low. The only better speed we have is with the Okadas, which again has its own challenges.
Yeah.
You know, but with the cable car, all that is solved. There is no issue about, you know, congestion. There is no issue about safety. There is no issue about delays. It is very efficient. You can sleep until you're 7 o'clock in the morning and wake up and you will get to your office on time. It's not like you are living in the east and you have to wake up 5 o'clock in the morning to go and stand for the poda to get you into the town. This will all be a thing of the past. The cable car will be the solution for Freetown.
Indeed, because the migration after the war, we saw the influx of people from the rural area to the urban area, and it's becoming congested. And with regards to also so many cars now, everybody wants a car, and that has been the challenge. Yes, Mudipe, I'll get on to you. With regards to the engineer was talking about the benefits of this particular project, and at the end of the day, you know, one of the particular set of people, the commuters in the money, are the school kids. And we need discipline when it comes to getting this set of people commuting from one point to another. How can discipline be maintained? Because we know transportation crisis, or the issue of how people treat transportation. You know, the buses, even when we are kids, you know, going to school, we have razor blades that we just tear the seats like that, and they will just be misbehaving. How can discipline be maintained that you cannot carry trash in there, you cannot make the place very untidy or unkempt? Tell us exactly how can that be maintained, because that's a very serious issue, a very serious challenge.
Yeah, that's a very important point you have raised.
Yeah.
What we learned from Medellin was that they were able to achieve that because the citizens were made to feel that these assets are owned by them. So it is a solution for the city. And I think as part of the feasibility study, we'll be looking to find ways to include communities in decision making, so they have a sense of ownership of the project. And where that is done successfully, is done well, that there's participation in all the processes that lead to the solution, there's a greater sense of ownership of the project, and therefore there's reduced vandalism of public assets. That's what they found in Medellin. They had lots of social problems before the cable car, and the process to which they use the cable car in addressing some of their social problems and how they engage their communities in decision making resolve lots of their social problems. What surprised me, even to the point where they were able to report that their fare gates did not have to be manned. People were willing to pay without unmanned fare gates. Even in some Western countries, you're not able to achieve that level of compliance in fare collection. So there's a whole journey that we need to go through in engaging those who are within those corridors, which is what Engineer Savage will be leading on in trying to carry out studies to really understand the needs of the population in the city and how we address that in designing the way we design the project.
Yes, engineer. Yes, let's get to what's your own part in this project. What's your role?
Yes,
to this project.
Thank you very much. You know, my role in this project really is the very start of the project. Before you do the cable car, you have to know the potential ridership, okay? Because we need to develop, I think Modupe has made mention of that as well, to develop the business case. And to do that, you need to be able to estimate the number of people that have the demand for use of the cable car. So my role is to develop what we call a demand model. That demand model will need a lot of data collection. first of all, we need to know what the overall commuting ridership is within the corridor from the east to the CBD. So therefore, we'll be conducting some studies, on the road with vehicles, and this is where we have to engage the motor driver people, the Okada people, the Keke people, and even private vehicles to comply, because we will be having officers to stop them, for a few, maybe 1 or 2 minutes on the roadside to ask them where they're coming from and where they are going. And other people will be doing an estimate of how many people they are carrying. Okay, that's one part of the study. The other part of the study will be intercepting people at their households, people that are going to school, at institutions, at workplaces, right, at schools. You mentioned schools. We'll be looking at schools. We'll be looking at high mass transportation areas like the ports, markets, banks in the CBD. So we'll be looking to interview these people, intercepting them and interview them. And that's the kind of cooperation we will seek from all of these stakeholders to cooperate, with the enumerators that will be coming to ask you a few questions. These questions will be about, your commuting for a day. So you need to think about your potential day, that you make your trip, right? So from the time you leave your house, to the time you get to your place of work, you have to tell us really what kinds of traffic, what kind of mode of transport you use from your house to your final working place. How many transport did you take? Because some people take 2-3 transport before they get to their, So we would like you to tell us how many legs you made, how many changes you made, what time did you take, how much did it cost you. So at the end of the day, we want to know what the total time from the time you leave your home to work, how much time did it take you from that time to your place of work? How much did it cost you? And I'm sure by the time we get this study done, you will be amazed how long it takes people to get from their home to their place of work and school and so on, and how much it costs.
So will that report be available for the public or for the media?
Of course, when we do that report is going to be, I think it's going to be put to the public. I mean, it's going to be validated, I can imagine, because that's normally what happens, because this is a public document. So we will have to put that report out there, and then we will have to engage people, for their cooperation. Because really, to be honest, it will take some time, for people to answer all of these questions. We need to ask these questions because we need to be able to get enough data to develop a model. Because, when you are developing a mathematical model, you need enough data. So that's the kind of appeal we will be making, to all of these people that are within this corridor, schools and so on, offices, households. When our people get to you, please cooperate to answer to their questions, because you are part of development.
Indeed, and think they will love to be part of it. And let me come over to Modupe quickly again. Modupe, how involved is the central government in this, in this particular project? This is the Freetown City Council, it's a local government. How involved is government in this?
Well, government.
And what's their role?
Government play a very critical role. Although the project is being promoted by the council, it needs the cooperation of government for it to be delivered successfully. And we have set up structures which ensures there's a regular participation of all the relevant government departments. We have a project steering committee, which is on which all the 3 main government departments are represented. And we have a project coordinating unit where a number of government departments and agencies also participate and are represented on these meetings. So we're still in the feasibility study stage. So we need to define a delivery model.
All right.
And the delivery model of the project will certainly involve government. That's how the part of the feasibility study is to look at the governance structure through which you are best able to deliver a private sector concession. And that will certainly involve government and the city and the private sector investors as well. So that is the outcome of the feasibility study. We look at the most optimal delivery structure that will ensure all the stakeholders have the right level of participation and involvement, and also the private sector feels confident to invest to make an investment into the project.
Into the private sector.
Private sector.
So does the government has some financial input in this?
Well, the public sector's investment could be in the provision of land and assets for the construction.
Okay.
There might be some investments required if depending on the operating model. For example, if you wanted to provide concessions to school children to use the cable car as subsidized transport, for example, then government could choose to contribute financially.
All right. Tell us about the duration of the pilot project or pilot stage of this project.
The feasibility study,
the feasibility study,
which should lead to identification of a financial delivery model, should be completed by April 2024. 2024. Yes.
So we are expecting the first cable car to run on what date?
Well, as I said previously, it takes about 2 years to build the cable car. It might take some time to negotiate with the financier that is selected. Might take 6 months to 12 months, but I'm optimistic that we'll probably get the project delivered
in 2 years, 3 years.
Within 2 to 3 years from completion of the feasibility study.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, engineer. Quickly, you are talking about some of the research that you will be conducting, and we know the Sierra Leoneans, more especially those that are commuting in the municipality, have this problem with quarreling with the transport, enumerators or even the transport providers, along the line. So tell us exactly, will your research cover those areas with regards to, getting people to understand that you should behave properly?
Well, that behavioral part will be captured in the form of questions that will be in the questionnaire about your acceptability, of the project. So we will have questions which will ask you, like, first of all, do you want the cable car to be built? I would like to know from you. Tell me, yes or no?
I say no.
If you say no, then I will say why. Then let us know why. Because it's your right to say no.
Yeah.
You might think that, well, maybe that money can be spent in another way. Maybe build a market for us. It's better you spend that money to build a market. Fine. We want to know, because all of these will be captured in how we develop what we want to do.
Yeah.
But if you say yes, then you have accepted that this is something that will be beneficial to you. So we don't expect that kind of resentment. I think my colleague spoke about the issue of complementing, with other transport modes. So we are trying to reduce that kind of rejection as much as possible, both from other transport operators, and even from people. So that acceptability question will be there, which we'll be able to make some judgment on as well.
Yes, as we are rounding up now, what would be your message to Sierra Leone? Of course, both of you are Sierra Leoneans, and we are going to use this cable car. What's your message to them in terms of maintaining it from our own perspective as citizens? What would be your message?
My message to Sierra Leoneans is that this project, by the grace of God, if it happens, this will be a game changer for us in Sierra Leone. Transportation is a problem that we are facing for a very, very long time. So if we have this now coming, let us take it as our own. It belongs to all of us. It's not just the owners. This is our property. This is our own, and because it is going to change our lives. So if we have that kind of mindset, then I think it's going to be a very successful project for all of us.
Yes, we are praying that it will be a successful one. Yes, Modupe, you too, what would be your advice to Sierra Leoneans that will be using these cable cars? when it commences, when the operation commences?
Yeah, I think I would agree with my colleague, Engineer Savage. It should be owned by us, the citizens of the city. We should see it as our own asset, which is going to help us and our children to live a better life. It will improve access to all types of services and facilities. So it is for us to value it and to take care of it and to support the project in every way possible to make sure it does not fail.
It doesn't fail.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. I think we've spent a lot of time getting people in the knowing of this particular project, the cable car project by the Freetown City Council. And in the studio this afternoon, I had, of course, Marcus Haxfield, and ropeway expert, who has been in the studio, and also in the studio with me, Engineer Bandamasi Savage, and also Modupe Williams, who is also here to talk about the issue. And of course, he is from the Integrated Expert Urban Planning Department component right there at the Freetown City Council. Thanks a lot for your time right on AYV Television. Of course, this is a project that every Sierra Leonean, more especially those of us who are residing in the Freetown municipality, we love to see the completion and the success of this one and maintain it so that we can get the problem of transportation as a history. Thanks a lot. It has been Albert Jochef, and many thanks to the production team for this particular show. It's a special edition, and of course, I think going forward, we should be getting people to come and discuss this very, very important project as we move along. Thanks a lot again, and of course, goodbye.
Hey, just a second. You know, say for subscribe now free. Plenty people who they watch here, they know they subscribe because someone feel say for subscribe, they need for pay money. If you not be known for no now say for subscribe now free. But why for subscribe? If for subscribe for three main reasons. Number one, you go be the first person we go know whenever we come on live. Number two, you go be the first person we go know whenever we upload new video. And number three, you go be the first person for comments, like or share. And the last one for support we, so we go bring kind of content here regularly to you. So you see how it beneficial to you. So if you don't subscribe it, what you do wait? I for subscribe to TPP Leo now. And before I forget, not forget for click the notification bell so you go get all the notification. Bam.
Country slow, we want for no. Why not they grow? Yeah, hey, bo, we want for no. We want for no. Wait make we country they go slow. Wait making all they grow. Yes, so I can for sure. Yes, I can for sure them thing them way they make we know they grow. Then now we they die from. If I they try for go before, I beg bo. Do ya not make us slow? No. If I try for raise the tempo, do ya not make them low? Yes, so if I dey try for go before, I beg oh, do ya not make us slow? No, no. If I dey try for raise the tempo, do ya not make am low? Yes, so before they do them thing now we go make we gladdy, thing now we go make we happy, thing now we go make we country laddie daddy. So we go live in unity. Yes, so before they do them thing now we go make we gladdy, thing now we go make we happy, thing now we go make we country laddie daddy. So we go live in harmony. Yes, so don't we for do them thing now we go make we smarter, thing now we go make we stronger, thing now we go make we nation last much longer. So we life them go better. Yes, so but we for left them thing now we go make we scatter, thing now we go bring palava, thing now we go make we nation well panambara, make we people scatter.
This kind of thing that you talk about, I like them.
Thing them like half flavor blabber, political party wahala. Thing them we go make we agba, them put we country pan yakba. Sing along say hey, hey bo bo, we want for no, we want for no. Wait make we country they go slow, wait make it all they grow. Yes so go, I can for sure. Yes I can for sure them thing them way they make we know they grow. Say now we did that, yes, so make we show them thing now we go make we kick boom, now we go make we country go before. Mama, yes, so now we go make we grow, now we go make we left for go slow, make baby gladdy for Bobo show. Alright, so if I perform, me on perform, you say for gladdy for watch you watch, if I sing, me young sing. Say for gladdy, for dance, you dance. Before they do them thing now we go make we gladdy, thing now we go make we happy, thing now we go make we country laddie daddy. So we go live in unity. Yes, so before they do them thing now we go make we gladdy, thing now we go make we happy, thing now we go make we country laddie daddy. So we go live in harmony. Yes, so sing along, say hey, hey, bo, bo, we want for no, we want for no. Wait make we country they go slow, wait make it all they grow. Yes, so oh, I can for sure. Yes, I can for sure them thing them way they make we know they grow. Say now we dey life and go.
We dey pray, but still things not the change. How we go before when we still get evil ways. Let we try to change your ways and let we love for free. Yeah, love one another.
If I do me thing you step for try do thing make we all do thing Salon prosper thing if I like you thing you step for like me thing make we all like we thing Salon prosper thing before they do them thing now we go make we gladdy, now we go make